So for the second week in a row, we're here talking about what a brutal week it was for injuries. When we got Broncos, Simeon and Sanders going out. We got famous Jameis Winston with a sprained AC joint and, possible Rookie of the Year candidate, Fournette, going out with a sprained ankle. But probably the biggest one that, we're talking about is probably Aaron Rodgers, Aaron, with a broken collarbone. Yeah, that is tough. He's going to have surgery. It's going to be season ending. God, it's been a brutal year for injuries. Skeen, I'm sorry that your man went down. You are Aaron's bitch, so sorry to hear that. It's a big loss for him and for the Packers and for you and your squad. But if you don't mind, I'm going to, swoop on in here.
So, it looks like you're having a little problem. Your man went down, and you need yourself a new QB. Well, I got the QB that you need here, baby. Drew Brees is hot. He's got that badass scar. Come on, I'll make enough for your Colorfields.
Talk to me after the show. But here it is. Your Week 6 Rip City Fantasy Football League recap. Stan, my friend, my brother, you know I love you from the bottom of my heart, right? But I whooped your motherfucking ass this week. 160.14 to 114.68. It wasn't quite the blowout of the week, but I'll take it, along with another 30-burger, second week in a row from MG, my guy, Melvin Gordon. I listen to too much NFL Fantasy Live podcast. But it was my number one pick, Antonio Brown, AB positive, just like my blood type, capping off a very positive week for the both of us with 32.5 fantasy points off of 155 receiving yards and a touchdown with that 40-plus yard touchdown bonus. I feel the championship in my veins. The touch moves up to a very appropriate 4-2-0. Rip City, baby. Moving up to second place, Stan goes to 3-3, moving down to 6th. Now we're going to do something a little bit different this week. The Squeak of the Week doesn't really do the matchup between Dak the Future and Demolition Justice. I mean, Reichel got completely boned. And here to tell us about it is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, bringing you the Heartbreak of the Week.
Thanks, Touch. That's right, it's me, the showstopper, the main event, the icon, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And I've broken a fair share of my hearts back in my day, but that's nothing compared to the heartbreak on Monday night. Down 110.9 to 103.44. Randy needed only 7.5 fantasy points from Frank Gore. Easy, right? Wrong. With less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter, Randy was down less than 1 point. And the Colts were down 2 scores with no time left. So there's no chance to give it to Frank Gore, right? Dak the Future pulls out a squeaker 2 weeks in a row. But wait! For no reason at all, the fantasy gods smiled upon Randy and Gore catches a 7-yard pass to end the game, moving up to 7.7 fantasy points, giving Randy the win and Dak to the Future the sweet chin music. Wow. A .24 loss, 111.14 to 110.9. Ooh, that's a heartbreaking loss there, Reichel. And I should know, because I am the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. And that was the Heartbreak of the Week.
Thank you, Sean. Now we can continue with the Week 6 recap, Defense Edition. Because 3 of you won thanks to your defense and special teams. Big points from that position this week. Wow. And let's start with Aaron's bitch, holding on to first place with an 85.72 to 71.92 win on her Bukkake bye. Luckily for her, she faced the Seahawks Homer's abandoned team on Seattle's bye week. So you could say you were on a Bukkake's bye, never mind. You got the win, but at a tremendous loss, as Aaron Rodgers looks like he will need that season-ending surgery, and, well, that's it for him. Yeah, I know, showing this footage is like twisting a knife, but that's what I do, because I'm a bro. But let's focus on the positive, as Houston's D without J.J. Watt or Whitney Merciless was, dare I say it, absolutely merciless. Okay, dad jokes aside, the healthy Houston squad racked up 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, and 95 return yards, and a safety, resulting in 31.5 fantasy points, good enough to push Sakina to 5-1, keeping her in first, and Bukkake is just a big blue waffle. Next up, it was Team Hell Yes, beating up Relax like she was B.A. Baracus by a score of 173.26 to 99.18 with a whopping 52.3 fantasy points from her defense and special teams, as Baltimore was her wild card like Murdoch with 4 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and holy smokes, 323 return yards, resulting in 2 touchdowns. Now that's a special game from the Ravens special teams, who were definitely the face of Tracy's franchise this week, helping her move up to 2-4 and up to 8th place with a much needed win. Relax goes down to 4th place at 4-2. So your losing streak ends this week, Tracy. Looks like our trade really paid off.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Damn right, Hannibal. But now we come to the blowout of the week, as Ken got battered by Los Lobos, 171.18 to 82.42, with 36.1 fantasy points from the Rams D and special teams. What? Tallying up 5 sacks, 1 interception, 1 block kick for a touchdown, and 41 return yards, with a touchdown kick returned on the opening kick by Pharaoh Cooper, walking like an Egyptian, 103 yards for the score. You beat Ken by 88.76 points, making you the Pharaoh this week with the biggest win. We'll just have to call you Ramsey's bringer of scores. So that wraps up the matchups this week. But now we take a look at the fantasy points that were left behind or rot in your reserves. That's right. We take the time to salute the players on your pine, racking up fantasy points you'd rather have in your starting lineup in a segment we like to call On Your Bench. Let's see. Where should we start? Well, the squeak of the week is usually right for this sort of thing, but even Reichel's bench only got him 6.9 points. He could have started McGuire over Mr. Anderson, but 11 carries for 22 yards and 2.2 fantasy points is definitely not highlight reel worthy, so we'll move on. Ken, your team has now been featured on the blowout of the week 3 weeks in a row, but unlike the previous 2 weeks, in week 6, you were on the losing end of the blowout. And part of the reason why is you started Rivers over Cousins. I mean, I know you're a Chargers fan, but you can't be a... Oh, wait. That's right, I already did the Homer joke a couple weeks ago. Let me change gears here. So Philip sent you down River, but Captain Kirk Cousins would have boldly gone and put 28.8 fantasy points on the board. Your choice at QB was
Most illogical.
Captain Kirk wouldn't have got you the win, but may have kept you from dropping a captain's log this week, getting blown out with Captain Kirk on your bench. Tracy, your team, hell yes, got the W, but you could have had the blowout of the week as well. Your Pine put up a whopping 78.92 fantasy points. Heck, your whole team was on fire. Except Lamar Miller, who was more lamer than Lamar. And guess who you could have put in instead to give you that blowout of the week? That's right, that man you benched, Ingram, who finally decides to show up the week you bench him.
Oh, hi, Mark.
and Ingram would have been a high mark for your fantasy squad this week had you made the room for him in your starting lineup. Okay, so that pun was almost as bad as the Tommy Wiseau movie itself, and just as bad as your decision to leave Mark Ingram and his 27.5 fantasy points on your bench. You're tearing me apart, Tracy! But the on your bench all-star of the week this week is Bukkake Thunder. This guy, what a dipshit. He left all of his Seahawks players in, but they were all on a bye. It's almost like the team is unmanned. Honestly, is it really any different? Had they gotten their head out of their ass, maybe they would have started Adrian Peterson, who looked his old form in a new uniform, beating linemen to the punch just like he beat the odds by putting in a big stat line for the Cardinals. What'd you think I was going to say? In all honesty, it's sad that the abandoned team gets all those points from Peterson all year long on his bench. But Bukkake and Peterson deserve each other, so assholes. Okay, so I had to stretch it a bit for the segment this week, but that's just because apparently you've all been watching and taking note and starting the right people. Heck, maybe you'll start perfect lineups each week and make this segment irrelevant. Yeah, not likely. Well, there it is. That is your Week 6 Rip City Fantasy Football League recap. Hope you enjoyed that as usual, and remember, I am your commissioner, so if you have any questions or anything, let me know. Make sure to hit up those waivers, try to make some trades. Don't forget to set your lineup. And Tracy, hey, don't think you're going to get any special treatment this week. The Smack Talk video's coming, so stay tuned.